Hello everyone, it's Tammy Wilgenbush with Card Designs by Tammy. Today we're going to be making this fun card using the Tulip Fields stamp set and Windmill Dies. So these are the Windmill Dies. My last video featured the flowering tulips stamp set or bundle. It had the tulip dies and the flowering tulips stamp set. They're part of this larger suite that will be coming out January 4th in the upcoming Stampin' Up mini catalog. So today I wanted to use the Tulip Fields to show cute projects that you can make with that, and also to show you all of the different pieces that you get from the dies. Sometimes looking at dies, it's a little overwhelming, and so I have pre-cut out all the dies so you can kind of see what they look like and how they associate with the stamp set if they do. So these dies, there's lots of different ones, and they're really fun. One of my favorite is this larger set here, which has the, it's a windmill, has the background for the windmill, and then it has this piece here, which does a very nice layering over, so you get kind of an accent piece, and then it has this large blade, windmill blades as well. And actually you can attach this right to these with a brad, and then you actually have a moving element on your card. So I'll show you a couple cards with that. Actually, I'll do that now. So this is a card that I actually showed in my last video because it uses some of the dies from the tulip dies. But it has this windmill here, and you can see that when you attach it with a brad that it actually moves. So it's a fun element to put on cards. It's probably my favorite. It also has this piece here, which will cut out the windmill from the stamp set. It also has the tree die for the larger tree in the stamp set, as well as this, I think it's this piece here, goes with the smaller tree from the stamp set. Also have two cloud, there's the other one here and here, dies that will cut out the clouds in the stamp set as well. So this one is nice. It has a lot of pieces that will cut out all of these pieces here. Does not cut out those there, but it does cut out the other stamped images. Some other things it has this fun little bicycle die. And then it has several pieces of fencing, which are nice fun elements. And then it has this die here, which is kind of just a nice background or line of little tulips that you can punch out. So those are all of the die cuts that come with the windmill dies. And again, I really like this. I like the stamp set. I'm not sure I'll get as much use as I thought, but I really like this larger windmill here. It just is a really fun element for cards. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be making this card, which is actually pretty easy, but I'll show you kind of how I, stamp these images here of the fun tulip field. And that's what is nice about this stamp set here. So what I have is a petal pink card base. That's just a standard 4¼ sorry. So it's 5½ by 8½ folded in half. So it's 4¼ by 5½. And then for the front, I just have a standard mat of 4 by 5¼ and then I also have a piece for the inside. And then I've already die cut all of my elements. So I have a tree, I cut out the windmill, I stamped, I believe I did the clouds in granite gray or gray granite, and then the fencing is in early espresso. So I have those already die cut out. So since this is a photopolymer stamp set, I'm going to put my foam base underneath to make sure to kind of get a nice even background. And so we're first going to use this stamp here. So when you're making the tulip field, it's this stamp set which kind of forms the background, and then you have this piece here which fills in. So you'll kind of see how I do it. So you stamp this first, and the colors I'm going to be using today are Poppy Parade, Petal Pink, and Highland Heather. So we are going to start with the Poppy Parade, and I'm going to ink up the background. And then I'm just going to put it, probably just, I'm trying for just about halfway up the card there, the white piece. And just give it a nice even press. And then I'm going to stamp it off. And I am going to wash it here real quick. Okay, so now I'm going to take the single triangle. And I saw somebody who started at the back. I find it easier to start in the center. So start right here and then work that way. So the key to this, getting it nice and even inking there, is you want to make sure the point is in that center there. So my head will probably be in the way here shortly, so I apologize. And then again, just give it a nice firm press down to get all the ink. So, and that's pretty good. It won't end up being perfect, but that's actually okay, because we're going to have elements going back there. So if it's not perfect in that center piece, that's okay. And you want to clean my stamps really good here. So that is all for the Poppy Parade. And then I'm going to use, next I'm going to use the Highland Heather. And again, ink up my stamp here. And we're going to go on either side. And again, you want to make sure that the corner is up towards that corner. And then you can see there's kind of a white border. I mean, the stamp is clear, but there's a clear border. So what I try to do is line up that border so there's about that border's width between the two stamped images there, to give it just a little bit of, oh goodness, I'm getting ink all over. Hopefully that'll be covered. So giving it that little bit of a gap there. There's no rhyme or reason to the gap. You just kind of do the best you can. Okay. And do the same over here. There we go. Okay, and then we have one more. That's not too bad so far. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get everything all lined up. And I am done with the Highland Heather, so I'm going to put that away. So last color we have for the flowers is the Petal Pink. And again, just trying to get it lined up there so that it's kind of an even amount of white on both sides. Give it a nice firm press down. And ink it up one more time. And then do this side over here. And there is the tulip field. So not too bad. Again, I think it's hard to get those gaps all even, but that's okay. They're supposed to be varied and different. All right, now I'm also done with the Petal Pink, so I'm going to put that away. Now what we're going to do, and I can move that, I am going to do the saying real quick because I'm going to use the Poppy Parade for the saying. And then I can put that in ink away. And I am using "No one deserves a happier birthday than you." And this is from the Flowering Tulip set, the saying. The Tulip Fields does not come with any sayings, so. But again, it's all part of the same suite, so the two stamp sets and die sets really coordinate well with each other, so it's easy to use. Okay. And I think, yes, that should be all I need of the Poppy Parade. That's just such a bright color. I want to get the ink closed and out of the way. Okay. So what we're going to do now with this piece is, this is just obviously kind of stark white. So we're going to give it a little bit of a color by doing some blending. So I'm going to take Pool Party, and let me find a scrap of paper here that I'm going to put just over. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just going to kind of cover those stamped images there. And we're just going to give this a little bit of color. Not a lot, but just so it looks a little bit kind of like a blue sky. There, perfect. So it doesn't take much, just a little there. Just again, kind of give that background a nice blue sky-ish look. Okay, so now we're ready to kind of put the background pieces in. And so we're gonna just, you can kind of layer however you want. I kind of have the windmill in the middle there. And then kind of the tree off to a side, have a couple of the clouds. And I just like to kind of lay things out first. I'm going to do a little bit more stamping. And then we have the fence there. So I am going to stamp where's this little guy? The little background tree, which is that on here. So I wanted to kind of put that down because I'm doing that in pear pizzazz. So we're just gonna kind of put a couple of the trees back there. And oops. Nice thing about the photopolymers. There we go. Can barely tell I messed up. So again, that just gives it kind of a fun little background there. And now I think I'm done with the ink. So these, I'm not sure the easiest way to do these. I ran my fences through the Stampin' Emboss using adhesive sheets. So I'm peeling off the background there. So the adhesive sheets are a nice way, especially for these really tiny ones, that basically you kind of make a sticker out of them. Because it's hard to put glue on these little tiny pieces. So works pretty well. Okay, so now I'm going to put the little fences there. Okay, the tree will go on with a dimensional. As will this, but we're going to do a little bit of coloring to the windmill. So I'm going to use a dark, soft suede. And I'm just going to color in parts of the windmill. And I will say I stamped the windmill in early espresso. And then I'm just using my Stampin' Blends here to give it a little bit, just to kind of color it in and finish it off. So I kind of do the edges there in the dark, and then we'll blend in with the light here. And you just kind of keep coloring and blending, and blends it all right in. All right, so let me put a dimensional on this. Actually, I used mini dimensionals on this one. So let me find my mini dimensionals, because they actually work for the windmill blades. So I can get the blades kind of stuck down there as well. All right, so then we just put this on. Whoops. That came off there. Oh, probably because that's still maybe a little bit wet from the ink. Okay. And then we're just going to put this right about there. Add the tree over on this side. And then we're just going to glue the clouds down. And there you have a fun little card. Okay, so now I'm going to glue this to the front of the card base. Get it all even there, centered. Give it a nice push down. Okay, then I'm going to add the sentiment with some dimensionals. Of course, got to use dimensionals. Just adds little bit extra to the cards. And I'm going to put this kind of down and off to the side. So there is the card front. And for the inside, on this card, I stamped the windmill again, but I really want to use this long background stamp. So we're going to use this today. And my nail just broke. Let's use Petal Pink, because that's kind of the card base. I was gonna do Poppy Parade, but I think we'll just do the Petal Pink. And I'm gonna go like this just because it's so narrow. I don't want to get the stamp, the block too much. So hopefully, that's such a pale color, it's hard to make sure that it's all inked up. But hopefully that'll work. Okay. Nice even pressure there. Yeah. Didn't really. Let's try doing this then. It's such a narrow stamp. I'm trying to figure out the best way to ink it up. Hopefully that will be a little bit better. And since it is photopolymer, I'll bring in my foam pad again, and maybe that'll help. Okay, let's hopefully give it a nice even pressure all across it. There, that's better. Cute. All right, and we're gonna do that on the envelope as well. Seems to work a little bit better inking it up this way. And make sure I got the envelope in the right direction. I have stamped upside down on envelopes before. Don't know if anybody else has done that, but I have. So I always try to make sure that's in the right direction. There we go. All right. So let's get the inside glued in. And that is the last part of this card. So hopefully you liked seeing what all the different dies looked like when they were cut out. I hope that's helpful. I know it's actually always helpful to me. I've seen a couple other demonstrators do those, and I found it so helpful that I now cut, or die cut all of the pieces out and kind of look at them and play with them and see what they all do. That just seems to be very helpful. Let me clean up here a little bit. So, so there's this fun card using the Tulip Fields and some different elements from the dies. And so I will show you, I already showed you this card, which kind of shows the fun windmill die. Shows off some of the designer series paper, and again, the tulip, kind of also tulip field background stamp from the tulip dies. And then I also made this card that again shows the tulip fields. Did something a little bit different with the larger windmill since it was off to the side. Kind of cut those and I adhered those down. And then stamped the clouds in Pool Party. So that's kind of just another card that I made using this stamp set as well. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Be on the lookout for the new mini catalog. Comes out on January 4th. I'm filming this just a couple days before, so I'm not sure. By the time I get it edited, it may be after the 4th by the time you see it, but we'll see. So I hope everybody had wonderful holidays and enjoyed these cards. If you like the cards, hit the subscribe button and the like button. And if you have any questions about Stampin' Up! Or the new mini catalog, feel free to leave me a comment. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody.